about what I, as a Muslim, have been going through to put up with my struggles, trying to live my commitment with God, trying to give my best in the commitment that I've made to my God when I decide to be a Muslim. Whether I'm born in a Muslim family or not, whether I've converted or not, when I consciously, willingly submit to God, that itself means Islam, submitting, willful submission. When I do that, I am living my life every day with certain concepts. Concepts of charity, concepts of sacrifice, self-sacrifice, concepts of being sincere in every action I take. That's what a Muslim's life is. And personally, I feel like being a Muslim every day is a jihad in itself. So if we have to go out with an ad campaign like that, all of us are stars here. So therefore, I'd like to just avoid that part of it. And FYI, this presentation, we had it for some other purpose, and I'm just using it. So pardon me for not going through certain parts of it. Thank you. And I've gone through that as well. I'm not going to go through the video up there, but if you Google or YouTube the 2010 ABC news debate, it's a town hall debate. Just go through it. It has in 3 different parts. Watch it, and you'll get to see different sides of Muslims: moderate, extremist, extreme side of Muslim community, as well as the Islamophobes. These are not the Muslims, but ironically, they agree with the Muslim extremists. One of the quotes that you can see there is, by the way, this person, Anjan Chaudhry, he's from the UK, and as if we didn't have any extreme imams or leaders out here, the ABC news channel, I don't know how they decided to stream him in from the other part of the world, or he's in the West. And this is exactly what he said. It's being quoted, so when you go back and watch the video, you'll find that. He says, "We do believe as Muslims that the East and the West will one day be governed by the Sharia. And indeed, we do believe that the flag of Islam will fly over the White House." Like, okay. And then he even goes about referring that as the sayings of the Prophet. I, as a Muslim, live my life around the Prophet's hadith, the Prophet's sayings, the Quran. That is my life. And then an extreme, I hate using that word extreme, but people who like to go by just face value or in a literal sense, when they take away this whole conversation from what I do in my life, it hurts. And therefore I like to highlight these people that yes, these extremists exist, but they do not have the right to take over what I have to say about it, what jihad is for me, what I am doing. Like I just explained, my jihad is much more spiritual. And it's much more ongoing. It's just not a one-time or one-time event. So that's one of the reasons why we need to we have to come up with a My Jihad campaign, because we start from within the community. If change has to happen, it has to happen from inside. So this is the first reason why we have it, so that we directly speak to our own people, saying that it's not okay to do that. Our religion, it means a lot to us, and nobody has the right, even within the religion, to take over each other's way of living. Then, quite obviously, the Islamophobes. There is around $40 million industry in the US which runs on instigating hate and negative connotation towards Muslims and Islam. Muslims in the West or Muslims wherever. They get paid to do this nasty job. It's not even nasty, it's idiotic. In Ahmad Rehab's words, it's Islamophobia is stupid. I'm going to just go down to this. He says Islamophobia does not hurt him just because I'm a Muslim and people are having negative connotations regarding my very peaceful Islam, but it hurts him because it's stupid, and we all, as human beings, are intelligent beings. We are creatures of intelligence, rational. Islamophobia is totally on the other side of it. And it's ridiculous that I and a lot of people out in our community, we are going jobless. There's this industry, they are making 40 billion a year. Come on, that's kind of not fair. So again, just like we address these Muslim extremists that no, you do not have the right to take over my religion, although you're in my community, even these people who are not in the community, but then I don't think you have the right to just go ahead and misrepresent me and try to push all the hate and all the nastiness towards me, which you probably wouldn't like for yourself. Why? Probably you're a sock puppet, or probably you don't have a life, or probably you're not using your own sense. Honestly, there are certain characters in the Islamophobic industry that one of them is a college dropout. So I wonder if that person did not have this job, what would they even think about what they're doing? Would they just go about for another job which pays them and they would just keep doing? But do they even understand how does that touch my life? Because you're doing that to me. So it's again trying to take back that conversation from these Islamophobes as well. That was the second reason. Finally, again, these are amazing documentaries. Go on Al Jazeera, look for the Fear Incorporated. It's amazing. It gives you the names of the people who are in this industry. It gives you a complete picture of how media can play a role in making and breaking an image of a particular group of people, ethnicities, or an idea, anything. I would highly recommend you to just watch that, because even before becoming a core team member of my Jihad campaign, I had no idea about what's going on. I was always surprised at why are people so scared about just Muslims or Arab names or people who look like me or maybe speak like me. But then just researching about media, even Muslim extremists, non-Muslims, everybody, it's hurtful, because as human beings this is not what we are created to do. I'm not the theologian is coming out, but I believe strongly that as human beings we're not created to be making a fool of ourselves when we put out a bad face to our own creation. We don't go about living in a family trying to take each other down. Whether people like it or not, but as human beings we are living in a big human family. Because when you go to an X-ray, without a real labeling done by the technicians, all our X-rays are going to be the same. Okay, there might be certain changes in your number of bones and all that, but we have the same core. We have the same color of blood, and we are the same kind of people. The superficial difference cannot take over where we come from. Our soul cannot be just taken over by that. So it gave me much more fuel to just be a part of a campaign like this, because it's not bookish first. It's not just for the Muslim community. I'm studying Catholic Muslim dialogue, and when I just talk about this at my seminary, all my Christian friends, they jumped on board. They're like, exactly, extremism is a part of every community, religious, non-religious, whatever. If you are a community, there are always going to be a left, a right, and a center. Center is always going to be the majority, right and left, that's a whole different conversation, but there are always going to be extremists, and we, the moderate, mainstream demographics, we get affected by the extreme values. And we often are being, the reason why I think why we've been taken over in the way we practice our beliefs is because we tend not to go about explaining or making noise about it. It's the extremists who tend to be making noise, trying to make a point across, because I'm not going to be judgmental here, but I guess they don't have a life and they just want to prove it. Whereas we, the regular people, we have a life, we have a lot of jihads to be maintaining or constantly keeping up with, and we get through it at the end of the day. Therefore, our voices are not out there, but with, again, my Jihad campaign, everybody's a part of it. Muslims, non-Muslims. If you feel like you've ever been taken over by an extreme voice, this is for you, provided you are with a moral compass while you're doing your jihad. That's how we roll with it. Okay, these are a few facts about the present situation in the America West. 63% know very little or nothing about Islam or Muslims. That was by Washington Post, and USA Today says 45% think Islam encourages violence. 53% have an unfavorable impression of Islam. The Gallup Post, this was done in 2011, all of this. And 39% say they would not want Muslim as their neighbor. I blame the media for that. Selective media portrayal of Muslims or Islamic values. And these numbers are not fake. They speak about the reality of the societies we're living in. And it's through these campaigns where people are invited to come out and to speak. Because, like I was just saying, the mainstream moderates, we don't speak out for ourselves that much because we're busy doing. And sometimes it's essential to just speak out, just to take back the conversation, which means a lot to you. Because as much as freedom of speech is important, curbing the hate speech is equally important. Because when we be quiet towards some kind of injustice that's going on, in a way we're accepting it. We are becoming a part of it, and therefore we become victims to it, but that cannot stop us from moving on or breaking the vibe of the whole extremism or being taken over by a negative force. I guess this is where we started. We started in Chicago in December. A month later, we were in San Francisco. I wish I can pull up the websites, but the latest on San Francisco is that the Islamophobes have very shamelessly hijacked our designing of our ads, like the one that's on the bottom right, which says, "My Jihad, modesty is not a weakness." What they've done is they have all negative figures like Osama bin Laden or people from extreme sides saying their jihad is violence and all that. And they say this is their jihad is just reinforcing the negative side of jihad, which they would like people to be believing, living in that cloud. The San Francisco community has responded in a very smart way. First, they condemned the using of hate speech in public transportation areas. Like, how could you even use that? Just on the basis of there's a difference between hate speech and freedom of speech. Not only that, they've come up with an idea of the same kind of ads, it's just that they have the face of the Islamophobe, and it says that my jihad is to be spreading Islamophobia because I don't have anything else to do and I cannot stop myself from doing it. It's funny, this whole situation, media likes to portray it as a war of words, but it's happening, and I like the whole idea that there are not the communities outside of Muslim circles, they are coming out and standing up with the Muslims when their sacred tenets are being taken over. That's the way to be really progressing in any community. That's what I understood from this, just being a part of this campaign. So, a lot of homework here. When you just get out of the San Francisco